Hey everybody, welcome to the Geek Generation. I'm your host, Rob Logan, joined in the studio by Anna.
Hey now.
And Paul O.
You know what you did.
That's
what you did.
That's the go back to one.
That's my go-to.
Yeah, that is the go-to. It's a nice one. I like it. We have a lot to talk about this week, so we might as well not waste any time and get right into it and start with our Geek Outs.
Yay!
Anna?
I had to go first?
Yeah.
I lost my job.
I know why that's a geek out for you,
That's a geek out because I fucking hated my job. I hated it. I worked there for 10 years and it was soul crushing and horrible. So I've been unemployed, which is fantastic.
Yeah. Except for like the no money thing.
Oh,
but you're probably...
right.
Are you collecting?
Yeah. I haven't got a check yet though.
Oh, okay.
Because the government.
Right.
But
you will.
Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah.
And I had like 2 weeks vacation left over.
Nice.
And I actually worked a holiday the week before I got fired because I got fired. That was weird too because I didn't do anything. But anyway, so I had a nice little cushion built up. So I've been fine. Financially, it's been fine. And so I have 2 new jobs that I haven't started yet, but I have 2 new jobs because one of them is working for a freelance graphic design firm. So this guy has an LLC, so he's a company, but he does freelance.
Sure.
And he can't do all of his work. He doesn't have time, so he is throwing me stuff.
Nice.
Which is great because I can do all that from home, which is awesome. I love being home. I love my home. I love my house. I love my dogs. I love being home. I don't want to have to go anywhere.
Working at home's fun.
It's pretty awesome. And then my other job is just a part-time job to sort of like pay my mortgage because the freelance stuff is so sporadic. So this is just going to be 20 hours a week. And it's not like that exciting, but it's just nice that now I'm going to have like someplace to go in the morning. So I like have to shower
And put on
pants and leave the house,
Right,
because
right.
I've heard like some work from home people. I don't think I would have this problem because I like get up and work out every day anyway. Like I've been eating my breakfast and like eating my salads for lunch and taking the dogs for walks and being active. But a lot of people I've heard that work from home like sort of turn into hermits and they like forget how to interact with people like when they're
Guilty.
home all the time, like if they're home all the time and don't have
Yeah.
somewhere to go and don't have people other than like their spouse or their dog to talk to. I think it'll be healthy and good for me to like have somewhere to go every day, but it's only for a few hours and then I get to come home and do the graphic design stuff and be with my dogs. Did I mention that I'm really excited to be home with my dogs?
No.
Did that come up at all? Because I
No.
love them. And like as soon as all of this happened, the first thing I said to my husband was, well, it's like, we can get a puppy.
Oh, no.
And he was like, no, no. So I'm just kidding. I'm not going to get a puppy
Yet.
until the dogs die. And then I'm going to get a puppy.
Oh.
But that's probably not for another like 5 years.
Right.
But yeah, so I'm like I'm so much happier in general. Like my geek out is just that I'm not flipping miserable anymore.
That's
So
good.
it's so good.
That's good for all of us in your proximity.
It is. Because like, yeah, I'm just happier. Like everything's great. I'm like everything. Because up till that point, everything was great. Like I love my house. I love my husband. I love my dogs. But I hated my job. So it's like the final piece to the puzzle. It's like, I don't hate my job anymore. This is great. So it's great.
Sounds great.
Let's make America great again.
Everything's great. Happy. My other geek out is I've been rewatching all of the old Doctor Who's for a while now, and I'm finally on the 4th Doctor, who's my second favorite Doctor. And he really is, he's one of the best ones. Like everybody will tell you that. It's Tom Baker. And even the storylines just get a lot better. Like the one of them that's probably I would tell anybody that watches the new series to go back and watch is the Genesis of the Daleks, because it's a really like, quintessential Doctor Who story, and it gives you a ton of backstory on the Daleks and really helps you understand everything that happened there. And it definitely links up to some of the new episodes, especially in I don't know what seasons they are, but the one with Donna.
Sure.
That it totally like links up to that one. So if you're not into old Doctor Who, I at least definitely suggest that you go back and watch Genesis of the Daleks because it's one of the absolute best series. So I'm just loving that. See, Third Doctor was like a little slow. I'd never seen him before. I saw like 1, 2, 4, and then I sort of skipped around the later ones. But I'd never watched really any of that Third Doctor, and he was a little boring. So I'm really excited to be.
Who was the Third Doctor?
John Pertwee.
Oh, Pertwee.
And there was nothing wrong with him as the Doctor. It was like the storylines that he was given. He was trapped on Earth. It's like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? And I think they did it because they gave it like less budget or something. So they just like would dress guys up in costumes, but they didn't like do whole sets on other planets and stuff like that. But for what
the Doctor's capable of, that's such small storytelling.
Yeah. I mean, I could see that for like 1 or 2 episodes, like having that be something that happened. But they dragged it out for almost his entire, like he only got control of the TARDIS back at the very end of his run. So it's just like, I'm like, all right, like I like the Brigadier, like he's cool, and I liked his companions, but it was just kind of like, all right, move it along. Yeah. So I'm super excited.
Cool
about that.
Paulo,
just Doctor Who.
So good, so good.
If I had time, I would.
Yeah, there's no time. There's 50 years of content you have to catch up on. 50
I'm gonna have to get to like when I retire or something.
Yeah.
My first geek out is I too have a new job.
Yes, new jobs.
Quality of life has improved dramatically.
It's like we're grown-ups or something.
Yeah, like I mean, I think everybody who's in like the legal profession goes through some form of this. Like you slog away at getting killed at your job for a certain amount of time, and then you eventually make the jump to like a company or like somewhere like as in-house counsel, and you don't have to go to court anymore. Like your hours are stabilized because it's not governed by a certain number of billable hours per week. Just general improvement in the quality of life because now I'm working for a company as opposed to like a law firm. So it's like, and I posted something on social media about it, and like a lot of my lawyer friends are like, "Ah, yes, welcome to the fold." Like they understand like that sigh of relief after that first week on the new job where you're like you're kind of shedding the paranoia of like certain elements of the job that you might have maintained from before. Like this past Friday, like I wore jeans and sneakers to work and nobody yelled at me.
Whoa.
Yeah, I felt like I was getting away with murder. I was like I was literally like I would pick up my pace going to the bathroom because I didn't want anybody to see me. And,
I'm such a scrub.
But people in HR were like, "That's perfectly fine. You can wear that every day if you want." I'm like, every day? Like I can wear jeans every day. Like just the hallelujah chorus in my mind is just like the light beyond the horizon. Like it's all just like, oh, this is amazing. And it's like, it's a software company too. So you get a lot of like free stuff, like food and drinks and stuff. There's like a whole kitchen with just like free food and drink. And you're just like, what did I do?
What is this magical wonderland?
What have I done to deserve this? This is amazing.
Wait, you're paying me?
Yeah,
wait,
I don't
what?
get this. It's like so much.
To go to this fairyland every day where I wear jeans and eat food.
Yeah, like, this is amazing. So yeah, that's my first geek out. Second geek out is The Division. It's finally here. The Division. Here. Tom Clancy's The Division. I will say this, it's very repetitive.
Is it?
I mean, there's a lot of just like, hey, there's these people over here that need help. Go over there, shoot a bunch of bad guys, or turn on a bunch of scanners, or do the tasks can be repetitive, but I mean the exploration aspect is cool. I like the cover shooter, third person shooter sort of Gears of War sort of thing. The leveling is fun. I mean, I'm still maybe about a week into the game, but I'm only level 13.
Okay,
level cap is 30. So there is a challenge to it, like I'm not breezing through everything. Dying repeatedly, which to me is new because like in other games, like even in other like sort of MMO type games, you can super level yourself beyond content. So like, let's say an area is for like level 8 to 12. Like you could grind out like side missions and get to like 14 or something, and then just make like the story stuff super easy for yourself. But it's a little bit difficult to do that.
Okay.
Like you can't like super level yourself in the game. So the challenge is still there. And it's like, it's just fun. Like, I was looking forward to this game. I haven't gone to the dark zone yet, which is the place where you can like like betray your teammates.
Yeah, I did get in on the beta before it was over, so I did play a little bit, and I played like the story part of it.
Yeah.
But I never ended up being able to go into that area. I was like, when is someone gonna betray me? I didn't realize that it was a separate thing.
It's like a whole new zone in the game on the map, and like like me and my friends tried going into it when we were like level 10. Not a good idea.
No,
even though it's capped, like it's adjusted for your level. So if you're level 10, you're going into an instance of the dark zone that is like 9 to 12.
Okay.
So it's not like people are outrageously overpowered, but everything does have more health, and there are a lot more like advanced enemies, like enemies that are like either purple bar or yellow barred health, meaning that they have more health and armor. So it's a challenge. And part of the reason why people don't go into the dark zone until they hit 30 anyway is because the gear that you get in there will just become obsolete in like a couple of hours.
Oh, okay.
Because you've kind of out leveled it.
Sure.
In the story mode. So, but I'm having fun. Again, I'm FPL45 on Xbox Live. If you want to play Division with me, let me know. I'm usually on like late at night during the week and maybe sometimes on the weekends. But add me and just let me know that you heard this on the Geek Generation, and we can play.
Is Destiny in the rear view now?
Which is funny. It is, because Destiny is like that abusive relationship that I was in for like a year.
Right.
But they just released like a news story that said they're going to raise the level cap and kind of reactivate old content. But I'm like, I'm over it.
She
like,
can't just show up with a new outfit and be all pretty again.
Yeah, you can't just flash your tits and be like, come back to me. And it's like, no, I've moved on.
Yeah,
I found the division.
Now that I'm away from it.
Than
yeah,
that, okay?
I have more self-respect.
I know what it feels like to be in a good relationship now.
Yeah, now I know what it feels like to be in a healthy relationship with somebody who loves me.
Yep.
God, I can't believe I'm talking
about
it.
And his name is Tom Clancy.
Tom is very good to me. Recently, another geek out of mine. Recently, there were a couple of Star Wars fan films that came out that made it onto pages like IO9 and the like. One was called Darth Maul Apprentice. It's like a 18-minute fan film that focuses on what Darth Maul was doing just prior to episode 1. He was kind of like in hiding in a secret of Emperor Palpatine's, and he encounters a bunch of Jedi on a planet, and lightsaber battles ensue, and it's pretty awesome.
Pretty good lightsaber battles too.
Yeah, like it's I dare I say it's like Ray Park level for Darth Maul at least.
And the guy they got to play Maul, good lord.
Yeah. Like,
was that Ray Park? I mean,
like,
geez, he looks like so much like him.
Spitting image. Yeah. I mean, I know Darth Maul does have a lot of makeup, but I mean, he does, like, even the mannerisms and stuff. He doesn't scowl or growl a whole lot in the fan film, but I mean, he's very evocative of Darth Maul. Like, even could be like a younger Darth Maul.
Yeah, really good job.
Yeah. And the other one is Star Wars Exile, which is not as good as the Darth Maul film, but I mean, it is Star Wars, and it's out there, and it was a fan film, and it was free on YouTube.
Yeah.
It kind of follows like the story of a troubled Jedi after Order 66 is handed down. There was a small twist at the end. The Sith in that is kind of like, I wasn't too attracted to it.
No.
It was weird what they did with like the Force, and how like they were so heavily invested in like Force manipulation and Force pushing and stuff.
Yeah, it was strange.
Like when you think about Star Wars, like, what's the cool thing? Like flashy lightsaber battles. That's the thing that makes it fun to watch. Not like guys that are pretending to do that thing that you used to do when you were 6 years old, Like, it's kind of like, it was a little weird, but I mean, it was good in its own respect. It did reference Kanan Jarrus, who's the sort of like the Jedi master in Star Wars Rebels.
Okay.
Which, you listened to me last week, you knew that I kind of have a problem with the story of Star Wars Rebels and how like inconsequential it is, because you know what's going to happen to the guy later. They could have gone without that link and probably made it a more story I'd be more invested in. But otherwise, a couple of good films. That's about 30 minutes worth of viewing time. Check it out. You can find both on YouTube.
I'll link to them on the geekgeneration.com in the show notes. Darth Maul Apprentice, I thought, was very well done.
Yeah.
Effects are really solid. Production level on both were pretty high.
Yeah.
I was surprised how much they could accomplish. I don't know what they were budgeted or what they were doing, or But both looked very, very good. The story behind Apprentice was a lot stronger.
Yeah.
I thought Exile got a little confusing.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that I noticed while watching Exile that really pulled me out of it for a minute is that despite all the production value they have, they forgot a very, very simple piece, and that was the background hum sound of the lightsabers.
Yeah.
And it feels like a vacuum they're fighting in almost because
Yeah.
you don't hear that familiar hum of the lightsaber. And it's like, that's a sound effect that you loop in the background while they're on.
Yeah.
That's so easy to do, and
Very
I can't
simple.
believe it was
Yeah.
missed. But yeah,
It's kind of like they're fighting with glow sticks.
exactly.
Yeah. My last geek out is something that's been around for a while, but I've only recently sort of thought about maybe investing in it because I have like a new place to display them, namely my workplace. These are a couple of sets of action figures. One of them is the Variant Play Arts Kai series. I think they're linked with Square Enix, the video game company.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
they do all the Final Fantasy
Yep.
figures.
Yeah, they do all the Final Fantasy figures, but they also do like the Square Enix style of different characters from other universes.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that I saw were like they did a Boba Fett one that looked sick.
Yeah.
Like it was just like all metallic-y, and Boba Fett was just like the way that his position, like you can find these all on Amazon, by the way. If you just plug in Variant Play Arts Kai, like you'll find like a whole slew of different characters.
They're beautiful.
Yeah, like they have this like great metallic paint finish. There's Captain America. There's I don't know if they sell the Square Enix Batman that looked like crazy robot Gundam Batman.
They were selling that, I
They do,
believe.
right?
I saw it at a few cons.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think they sell it on Amazon too. It's like $250.
It's
but
nuts.
yeah, but it's insane, like the detail and everything. So that was one. The other one is from Bandai. It's called the Bandai Tamashii Nations, like sort of line. They do like ancient Japanese inspired Star Wars figures.
Mm-hmm.
The one that I'm like 90% sure I'm gonna buy is Ronin Boba Fett. So it's like Boba
Yeah,
Fett, but
yep.
he's wearing like samurai armor. He has like a sword, but he also has the gun, but the gun is like an old style musket.
Nice.
And like
Yep.
you can't manipulate the figure at all. It just kind of stands there, but it looks sick. And they have like the samurai stormtrooper and samurai Darth Vader.
Samurai Vader is awesome.
Yeah, Darth Vader has like two swords. He has the lightsaber and like a regular katana.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Bandai ones are like $90, so they're a little bit more affordable. And so it's like, oh, it's so tempting. Like I want to buy it and I want to put it on a shelf somewhere and just
Yeah.
look at it. And it's kind of like the 5-year-old, 6-year-old nerd in me that used to like love those plastic models that you put together.
Sure.
Like for like they used to have them for Gundams, like the big intricate ones that you spent like hours putting together and painting. Like I could never get those because they were always like $300 at the store.
Yeah.
And like, I didn't have like the finger dexterity to put them together. And like my dad was like, hell no, I am not spending like 25 hours putting that together for you.
I don't even know what this is supposed to look like.
Yeah, like I am not good at following these directions. Like you do it yourself when you're an adult. And
Yep.
now I'm an adult.
Yay.
I do what I want.
I do what I want. I put models together.
Yeah.
All right. My geek outs. I too have a new job.
Yay.
No, I'm just kidding. I just wanted to be part of the group. I'm sorry. I'm in negotiations for a new job, so that's something.
We're sending new job vibes at you.
Thank you. Hopefully in the near future I will have a new job, but unfortunately nothing to announce right now. My first geek out is Daredevil season 2.
So excited.
At the time of recording, I am not done with it yet. I'm only 5 episodes in. Only. I know for those our time traveling friends and the way the podcast is recorded. It dropped yesterday, so I'm doing okay being 5 episodes in, even though there are people that have consumed the entire thing already. I will give away no spoilers, of course, but I will say that this version of the Punisher is fucking awesome.
Yay!
It's interesting how they're structuring the season. I thought certain things would present themselves and work themselves out in different ways, and it is surprising me, and I like it. I think they made a really smart decision. I didn't realize that they were going to update Daredevil's costume a little bit.
Oh, okay.
And
Everybody hated it.
The like
They complained
square
about it.
helmet almost looking was my biggest issue when they revealed it at the end of the first season, because it did look very blocky for a helmet. But they not only came up with a new version of the costume. He does start with the original one that he had. They do update the costume a little bit, and they do it in a smart way. They don't just go, oh, new costume. So they do actually give a reason for that all happening, which is very smart. So again, only 5 episodes in, much more to go, but still excited for very many more. I'm loving the drops and the references. They do reference Jessica Jones at one point. They do mention her by name. So that's all I'll say.
Yay!
That's all I'll say.
That's what I'm doing tonight.
Okay. My second geek out is that self-lacing Nikes are real now.
Yeah.
They're real now.
Yeah.
Nike has unveiled its first really working self-lacing shoe. The Nike Hyper Adapt 1.0 senses the presence of the wearer's heel and tightens its laces accordingly. Once the shoe is on, the wearer can adjust the fit with 2 buttons on the side to get the right fit. The Hyper Adapt 1.0 is set to arrive this holiday season in 3 colors and will go on sale only to Nike Plus members for an unspecified price.
Ooh,
Yeah.
there's the catch.
There's the catch.
But the thing is that the
For now.
technology is here.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And they applied it in a shoe that is ready to face a client's needs. So I think that means that they're going to incorporate it into just about every shoe that they can.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to think like this. The model that they use for this is very like vanilla, so to speak. They use like an Air Max platform, which is like a running sort of trainer platform.
Mhm.
But I mean, you can imagine it being in like a casual shoe.
Sure.
Or like, I
Absolutely.
mean, can you imagine the amount of shoes that they're going to sell when like LeBron James puts it into one of his?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or like, any one of the basketball shoes? Like this technology is in the right hands
Mhm.
and it's going to take off.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be in a lot of shoes like 5 years from now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, I love how it's Nike. I mean, obviously it's Nike because of the movie, but that it's a like major shoe company because they're going to be able to come out with it probably on a mass scale. And like people have already said it's good for like disabled people or
Oh, I
like
didn't even think about
autistic
those
people
things, yeah.
because they have to sell like older autistic kids that have bigger feet, obviously. Like little kids have Velcro and stuff.
Mhm.
But for people with normal sized feet that maybe, not have the capability to be able to lace their own shoes, they have to buy like special like elastic band laces and like relace all their sneakers.
Mhm.
But it's like if you can just go buy a pair of Nikes and it's already self-lacing, like, it's a lot easier to hit a button than to try to have the dexterity to tie a pair of shoes.
Totally.
So the fact that it's a major, big company that's going to probably do this on a large scale and have them be widely available, popular. So first of all, the kid doesn't have to be self-conscious because
Mhm.
he's wearing these goofy laces because he can't tie his laces too. So it's like, it's got a lot of good applications, I think.
Yeah. I'm less excited about the shoe itself. Like, it's great that we're getting self-lacing shoes. I'm more excited about the fact that a
Well,
movie
yeah.
inspired the technology.
Right.
Like, that's so cool that the imagination present in the movie
Right.
inspired someone to, granted, all these years later, but inspired somebody to actually make that technology. That's so cool.
Yeah.
I think this is like the most high profile example of something like in fiction driving a technology to market because like if you think about it, like Star Trek, I mean, you guys are Trekkies,
Yeah.
right? Star Trek is like science fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the
It's
things,
getting there.
A lot
a
of
lot
it.
of the things that they developed for the show are, I mean, something even as stupid as like the communicator that flipped open. I mean, we had
As a
phones
flip phone.
like that, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I
The
mean,
pad is an iPad now. I mean,
Right.
it was called a pad.
Yeah.
They weren't.
No, they totally had those.
but like the self-lacing Nike, the sneakers is like, it's something that's so like like when you think about like shoes, the last
Mhm.
thing you think about is laces.
Right.
Like you think about like the look of the shoe, the function of the shoe, not necessarily how your shoe fastens itself. Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's so small yet it has such a big impact. I mean, I think we're gonna see it all over the place, and I could do without the lights.
Oh, see, I like the lights.
I could do without the lights. I mean,
Yeah.
I think the lights.
There will be shoes without the light.
Yeah.
I'm sure. But this is definitely modeled after the Air Max
Yeah.
to start with, and then they'll probably branch out from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be the pricier model.
Right.
Yeah. I can't wait till they but one of the things I didn't like about the model that they showed in the videos for like Mashable and stuff, are like that you can hear the motor running, like when the laces tighten. If they can do it where it's like a silent motor and all you just feel are the laces,
I'm sure all that is in the near future. Right. Yeah, I mean, this is Model 1.
Yeah. It's gonna be sick.
So excited.
So cool.
So excited. All right, let's jump into our freakouts.
Oh, freak out!
Anna?
It's not a huge freak out. It's just like a little freak out. But I'm not enjoying the Shannara Chronicles as much as I wanted to enjoy them. I'm still watching them, but I'm not like dying for the next episode. You know, when I watch Dexter, like I'll look over at my husband, I'll go, should we watch one more?
Yeah.
Should we watch one more? You know, and it's the same thing with like Daredevil, and like you can't wait for the next one. And it's just not like that. It's also really, 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 really different from the book.
Oh, okay.
Like, I mean, so different.
Yeah.
It's like crazy amounts of different.
Oh.
And I went through the, trouble to like read the book first. And now I'm like, didn't have to do
Didn't
that,
need to,
really.
Yeah.
Like,
were the books enjoyable at least?
They were good. I'm on the second one. Well, no, I'm technically on the third one because Terry himself told us to start with the second one.
Right,
so
yeah.
I read the second one. I have the first one, but I haven't read it, and I'm reading the third one. I'm enjoying the third one more than the second one. It was a little slow at times, which I think is why they probably embellished the show a bit. But there are things in the show that don't need to be in there. And then there are things that it's missing that I missed. Like a major plot point that was one of my favorite parts of the book. They skipped over it. And I'm like, what are you doing? So I'm just like, I was just really, really hyped up for it, which is why I try not to get hyped up about things.
Right.
This is why I keep telling you people, like, I don't want to watch trailers. I don't want to get excited because you end up getting disappointed. You know, I was really, really, really excited, and it's just like sort of fallen short. It's not terrible.
It's not.
It's just, there's something about it.
I like it. I think it has a lot of potential. I think it hasn't realized that potential, and I think they're definitely still finding their footing and building the world properly because they're breaking their own rules.
Yeah.
Which is, and not necessarily breaking rules, but I guess just kind of general inconsistencies.
Yep.
How far in are you?
I don't know.
Because I was going to mention something about like the last episode, but I won't.
5 or 6. I don't even care because I do think it's going to end the same. If it doesn't end the same, then that's going to be real weird and people are going to be really upset. So I don't really... I mean, I'm watching it, so I feel like I'm like making myself watch it. And
I kind of felt the same way, yeah, because I had the loyalty to the show because we talked to Terry and we talked to some of the stars and directors of it. So I always feel that loyalty when I do that.
Yeah.
And I want to like it more than I do. But I do see the potential there where there are other shows that I've watched wanting to like and be like, oh, this is garbage.
Yeah.
But I've not felt like,
visually,
it's
stunning.
It's beautiful.
It's stunning.
Yes.
Like they had the budget and they used it in the right ways. Like it's gorgeous. So you got to give it that. The music, but it's probably because it's on MTV. So they're like, we have to make this sort of for younger
There are some songs in there
people.
that I definitely roll my eyes at.
Yeah, you're just like, even like Mike can't even watch my husband can't watch the opening credits.
Oh, really?
Oh, he's like, I can't stand
see,
that.
that grew on me
that
real quick.
type of voice, that female voice that's very popular right now, like he can't handle it.
Okay.
I don't like it either, but he can't. Like it's like nails on a chalkboard to him. He's just like, mute it.
See, one of the most interesting things about the world that they have set up that I wish they would explore more of, and maybe they do in the book, and they just don't have the time in the series because they're moving the story forward. But I'm so interested in the fact that unlike Lord of the Rings, this isn't Middle Earth. This is our world. And it's years and years and years and years in the future, and mankind has changed so much, or like...
Okay.
I want to know more about that.
Get this, though. In the books, it's even less prominent.
Really?
It literally is like of no consequence in the books at all.
Wow.
Like they ignore that, which is one of the things I was excited about too.
Yeah.
Like looking at the preview, like the fact that the like opening scene of the preview was the Space Needle. Like they don't even talk about the past.
Wow.
Like when they do discuss it, they just say like it was such a long time ago that
nobody remembers.
It's ancient history.
Yeah.
Like to the point where that stuff probably wouldn't even be around. around. Like the Space Needle will probably be completely gone. It was so long ago.
Wow.
So that's of no consequence whatsoever in the book.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
I think it's
like,
a really interesting aspect of the world.
It's like it's there, so why don't you do something with it?
Right.
Yeah. And then, of course, as the sequels go on, you're being pushed even further away from that because they're each 20 years apart. So you're even further.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's weird.
I haven't heard anything about a season 2 yet. So I guess it remains to be seen if it's gotten picked up.
And it's weird, too, because, again, it's 20 years later. So you're talking about a completely new cast. And then, in addition to that, what they're using, which I just met him last episode, but the gnome Slanter is a main character in the second book.
Oh, okay.
He's not in the first one.
Wow.
So it's like, why are you using him now when he's a main character
I
and
bet
a
we're
good
not going
guy?
to see that jump. That 20-year jump is probably not going to happen.
Then the second book doesn't make sense. I mean, it's weird. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
In the same way that The Walking Dead kind of uses the same origin point and then branches off and does its own thing, but still brings things up. I think it's going to be something like that. I think this isn't going to be a direct translation of the books. I think this is the world they're setting up using the second book.
Right.
And then they're just going to go and create their own story based off of it.
Yeah, maybe. That'd be weird.
Yeah. I'm curious to see what happens. And I would tune in for a second season.
Yeah.
But I do think they need to get some work done to make it.
They need to get off MTV.
I think that might be one of the problems.
Yeah, I think that's a huge problem. I think they tried to make it like young and hip.
Yep.
And it was like, no, it's like a nerdy show.
Yeah,
like
it
needs
is.
to
It
stay
really
nerdy.
is.
You know,
Yeah.
it's not cool. It's nerdy. I mean, it's cool in the sense that we think things are cool, but not the way most people think things are cool.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's it because I'm so freaking happy about my new job, and I'm like, nothing's bothering me right now.
Paulo, did you have any?
No, because I'm positive as fuck.
Yay!
All right.
Woo!
I literally have no time to be negative. No, but like, things
that's
are going
cool.
well. So
It's cool. I got plenty of time to be negative.
He'll fill in the
I'll be
gaps.
negative for everybody. So in the same way that I said, I feel like sometimes I'm watching Shannara because I feel like I should be or need to be. I'm feeling that way about Gotham now. I kind of was at the beginning, but I'm even more so now. And everyone was talking about how the villain thing in season 2 was elevating it so much and everything. And I don't know. There's a lot of complaints I have with it. So, and most of them do exist with the second season. Like the first season was very much world building. And the Penguin was such a strong character in the first season that I was like so forgiving of other things. I was like, this dude's performance alone is making me watch this show because he's Robin Lord Taylor is killing it in the first season of Gotham. He's a much smaller part of what I've seen so far in season 2, even more so in this second half of the season that I've been watching. Nowhere near as compelling. And it's not his fault in any way whatsoever. They're just bringing other people up to be more prominent roles. Because you can't have just the same villain the whole time, obviously. They recently did a run with one of my favorite Batman villains, Mr. Freeze. So I was very excited to see him come in. And I'm going to get in a little bit of spoiler territory here. So if people don't want to hear spoilers about Gotham, go if you guys don't mind.
It's fine.
All right. Because
well, I was thinking about watching it, and now it's not just you; it's a bunch of other people, and I'm like, well, now maybe I won't, because like, why get invested in something that you're ultimately not going to love?
Right.
And isn't it? I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No,
but,
go ahead.
Isn't it run at the same time slot as Supergirl too?
I have no idea.
I know a lot of people just watch it later, but I did read an article about somebody that's like, Supergirl is so much better right now, and they're competing.
It is.
So it's just like. Kind of forget about Gotham. So like now I'm really not even planning on watching it now.
So everyone knows one of the most compelling things about Freeze as Mr. Freeze is his love for his wife, and he's trying to save her the whole time because she's just frozen in a block of ice. And it's weird now because we're getting introduced to Victor and Nora, and he's kind of becoming Mr. Freeze while she's still like alive and conscious. So she's watching him turn into this villain. And then that changes the whole dynamic because when he comes out on the tail end, she might be like, oh, well, I don't even want you anymore because I saw what happened to you and what eventually you had to do to get me cured. Whereas Nora originally got frozen in the same thing that caused the accident that turned Victor to become Mr. Freeze. So she had no idea, like, he had done all this stuff and become this guy and whatever. And even worse, they kill her.
Oh.
They kill Nora Freeze, like, in the second or third episode that Freeze is in. And now what?
Yeah.
What's he fighting for?
Then they turn him into Mr. Freeze. Like, they actually create some sort of an accident that turns him into Mr. Freeze, like the one we know. And she's dead. So what is his motivation anymore? Yeah. It's gone.
The driving force behind
the most interesting thing about Mr. Freeze is no longer a part of that character, which shows me how little the Gotham writers understand the universe they're writing.
Yeah.
I understand it's an Elseworld, but there are things that define characters.
Yeah.
And that is a defining part of Mr. Freeze, so you can't take that away.
You can't really deviate from that archetype.
No.
It's literally the reason he becomes Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
Other than the accident, of course.
They do a similar thing, and they threw a whole red herring at us for the Joker. They introduced this character that had mannerisms and voice, and his name began with a J, and like they were leading us down this path of this guy's going to be the Joker. And then they killed him. And we were like, what is even going on right now?
Why would you bother?
And I remember reading a quote by some of the writers of the show or producers, or I don't even remember who it was, saying that, well, like to us in our world, the Joker isn't just a character. He's more like an ideology. And I'm like, fuck you. Like, this is the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
Yeah.
So because this is a prequel, and Anna and I were talking about it a little before we started recording, is that prequels suffer from a lot of problems anyway because they have lower stakes. Because we know where these characters are all going. Gotham suffers from this one incredibly because it's not just this small pool of characters, like main characters that we know how they're going to end up. It's the entire world.
Yeah.
We know where each of these characters is supposed to end up. And again, I understand it's an Elseworld and they're taking liberties, but it's just breaking too much for my fandom to handle. And I don't know if I can handle it. So like they're setting up this world that has all these villains. And I feel like that's the thing that's keeping me hooked. And that's why they're doing it. They realize maybe the show's not as good as it should be. And they're like, here's a person you know, and here's a person you know, and here's a person you know. And I'm like, I want to see what they're going to do with them.
Mm-hmm.
But then at the same time, they're creating their own downfall because we have Bruce at the age he's at. By the time he becomes Batman, he's going to come back into the city and Gordon's going to drop this like stack of case files and be like, we know everything about these villains already.
Right.
And it takes away the whole dynamic of, oh, did Batman actually cause the villain problem?
Mm-hmm.
Like, was it a response to him being in Gotham that we have supervillains? Be like, no, these guys have been here for a decade. We're good. We know everything about these people.
Right.
So what's the point? It's defeating itself.
Yeah.
It does sound like, and I don't watch Once Upon a Time, but it sounds like the same thing, which is they're like, oh, wait, the girl from Brave's going to be in it this week, so tune in.
Right.
Or it just sounds like a money-making scheme at this point. Like, they're going to tune in because the Joker's going to show up eventually, so these people are going to watch it.
Yeah.
You know, it sounds like they're just losing any sense of, like, plot or anything like that.
Yeah, I feel like I've gotten to a point where I just don't care that much anymore. And there are so many characters and so many different things going on that they don't have enough time with any of them to make them interesting anymore. It used to be about Gordon. It barely feels like that. I don't even know what it's about.
And also, we know who the best Victor Freeze is. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Chill.
Chill out.
Please.
You know what killed the dinosaurs?
The Ice Age. Every line in that movie. Oh my God.
Yes.
I'm apparently in the minority though, because Gotham is doing well enough that they just picked it up for a third season. So
Well, yeah, but that's network television, so
Right,
who knows?
right.
I mean, how many NCISs are there again?
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't really say anything. All that says is that the network people, because the pitch is probably, we'll throw the Joker in at the end of season 3.
Right.
And then the network goes, okay, here's your season 3. So don't,
Just
yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
So I think I'm done with Gotham, unfortunately. My next freak out, and bear with me, is X-Men Apocalypse. Now, I think the movie looks great. I am very excited for Apocalypse. I'm probably more excited for it than I was for First Class or for Days of Future Past. I love Apocalypse as a villain. Love the whole story behind him. It was one of the coolest parts. Aside from Days of Future Past, it's like they're ripping all the storylines from the 90s cartoon and doing it, which is why I'm loving this series of X-Men movies so much. My biggest problem with it, at least from the way the trailers are showing it, is that because of Jennifer Lawrence's popularity, they seem to be steering the story towards her as like the titular character.
Right.
Like she's the linchpin of all this stuff. They're even calling her Raven instead of Mystique, like all the time, and in the official like descriptions they release, as if that's supposed to make us forget that she's a supervillain and that she's going to become a supervillain. And like half the shots you see her in, she's not blue.
Yeah, that irritates me.
She's in Jennifer Lawrence, and you could be like, well, she's accepted, or she's hiding in a world where mutants are being persecuted. She's hiding to protect herself, but she's wearing the X-Men outfit.
Right.
So she should be blue. There's no reason for her to look like a human. It goes against the whole thing where she was like, loud and proud as a mutant, I'm out, and yeah, be proud of who I am.
Right.
And now we have to show everyone in America that Jennifer Lawrence is in this movie.
Right. I agree.
And it bothers me.
Yeah. I mean, is that a response to the most recent trailer?
Yeah, more so.
Because the most recent trailer was very like Jennifer Lawrence centric.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I mean, I kind of agree because, you know, Jennifer Lawrence, I mean, while she is kind of Hollywood's it girl at the moment, that's not what's selling your movie. I mean, it might be what's selling the movie to like a very small percentage of people.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's not what's selling the movie. I mean, to me, if you're going to talk about like characters who sell this movie, like hands down, it's going to be either Fassbender or Oscar Isaac.
Yeah.
I mean,
but he's in so much makeup that no one can even tell it's Oscar Isaac.
Yeah, but I mean, he's so like from what I've seen so far, I mean, he's very much like he's taken on like this like demigod sort of like personality.
If they were smart, it would say the poster would be X-Men Apocalypse, and at the very top in huge letters it would say starring Poe Dameron.
Yeah, right.
Starring Oscar winner or what, did he win an Oscar? I don't even know. But yeah, like make several different posters. One that says Oscar Isaac or Poe Dameron.
Yeah.
And another one that says like starring Olivia Munn, because I mean that's like,
that's
right.
a huge one.
That's a huge one.
I do think though, like it's possible, I'm just being way overly positive about this, but it's possible that when they put the trailer together, they made it look like that to sell tickets.
It's totally possible.
Yeah.
It's totally possible.
Yeah.
I'm hoping those human-looking shots are a very small part of the movie.
Right.
And they're just doing what they need to do to sell the movie.
Right.
Like, trailers will often be like, trailer 1 was for us. That looked friggin' awesome. And that's why they showed shaved Xavier at the end. Shaved head Xavier.
Right.
Trailer 2 is like, oh, here's our mainstream trailer. That's for the people who are on the fence about it.
You could keep her blue and take her clothes off again, like Rebecca Romaine. That sells tickets.
You could do that.
Naked women.
But then they don't know if it's Jennifer Lawrence or not, because they're all confused.
Yeah, but they know Anne should be naked. So they'd be like, buy a ticket and you can see Jennifer Lawrence naked.
True.
Did you miss the fappening? Check out Jennifer Lawrence in X-Men Apocalypse.
She will be nude.
And prosthetically blue. All right, let's get into some reviews. Anna, you have a movie that you watched.
I did. I watched a movie called Man Up, and I have notes on it. Hang on a second.
I watched it too, and Simon Pegg and Lake Bell star in the movie.
So I watched it. Basically, I don't watch romantic comedies. I don't like romantic comedies, but I did pick this one out because of Lake Bell and Simon Pegg, because Lake Bell was in a World, which is like one of my new favorite movies of all time. Movie. And I love Simon Pegg. So I just wrote like a really quick thing. Man Up is a 2015 British-French, which I didn't realize, romantic comedy. Starring Lake Bell in a World and Simon Pegg, Shaun of the Dead, obviously. The film follows a single 34-year-old woman who, after being mistaken for a stranger's blind date, finds the perfect boyfriend in 40-year-old divorcee, who's played by Simon Pegg. The film was released in May 2015. It was cute. I liked it. I'm glad I watched it. For a romantic comedy, it was definitely more for people like us that had our kind of humor. They were doing a lot of Silence of the Lambs references and quotes, which I loved. It just like cracked me up. I loved that. Lake Bell is very like, in both movies. She's very like sarcastic and like real woman. You know what I mean? Like she just strikes me as somebody you'd bump into on the street. Like she's very, very authentic and honest, and I really like her a lot. So I thought it was hilarious. It was very cute at the end. It was like uplifting. It was everything you'd want out of a romantic comedy, but without all the cheese. So I would definitely recommend people watch it.
Those are oddly enough some of my favorite movies. Like I'm not a cheesy romantic comedy fan, but the romantic comedies that are like have substance and real humor.
Right. And real romance.
Yeah.
Because there's a difference between like movie romantic comedy, like if he's standing outside your door with his boombox over his head, like that's just stupid, and like that's not how life or love works.
And so many romantic comedies are purely situational.
Yeah.
Like somebody didn't say something at this time and which led to a misunderstanding.
Right. They're just terrible, which is why for the most part I don't watch them. I literally was only attracted to this movie because of who was in it. I said, these two people would not make a shitty movie, so it's gotta be good. And it was.
And it is. It's very funny.
So I would highly recommend it to anybody, guys or girls. Like you liked it, my husband liked it. I wrote down some trivia thing. It says Simon Pegg reported that Lake Bell stayed in character even when not on the camera. So it wasn't until photography was done and she thanked the assembled crew that they realized she wasn't British.
That's funny.
And she is so talented.
She's
with
method.
her accents, and like if you watch In a World, like her accents and her voice stretch. So she's very talented. So talented.
Yeah.
So I would suggest watching it and then, watch In a World again because it's awesome. It's just one of my favorite movies.
The girl on the train at the beginning.
She was good.
She had a recurring role on Elementary for a while.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of knew her going in.
She was great.
She was great.
She was great.
Yeah.
All the actors I thought were pretty good. So I hope she does more stuff. She directs a lot.
She does.
If you look at her IMDb page, she directs a ton of stuff. But
she's a really important, strong female presence in Hollywood, I think.
She really is. She really is. And I hope she does more, and I'll support her because she's awesome.
Ditto.
I get the impression that she just gives zero fucks. Like
I think so.
Like she just wants to make the things that she likes.
Yeah.
And she just pushes.
There seems to be a tone to the things she does.
Yeah. And I think I think she's an important female role model because she's not, it's almost like we've discussed 1,000 times about like Ellen Ripley in Alien. It's not that she's a woman. She pushes herself as a person.
Right.
And that's so much more important. If you want real equality, don't be some feminazi bitch that like nobody's going to want to listen to.
Right.
Just be yourself. Be as strong as you can be and push yourself as, a director and an actor and like all the things that you can do that are great. Just do them and do them well, So it's like not even really like a feminist thing. It's just like a human being thing. Like she's just awesome. She's so talented.
Yeah,
I agree.
And I think if like the only bad things that I've read about Lake Bell is that people think that she somehow looks like a man or she's not very good looking. I first of all, I think that's a fucking dumb argument,
right?
Because like, why are you? That doesn't make any like that doesn't impact.
It shouldn't
her
matter
because her work is not like driven by that.
No, not at all.
But
it's not like she's casting herself as a supermodel in something,
right?
And she's pretty attractive.
She's very pretty, actually.
I will say this: as a lawyer, I like to bolster my point, and I will say this. If you think that Lake Bell is not the least bit attractive, I would ask you, I would beg you to seek out the Me in My Place photo shoot that she did. She did a photo shoot with Me in My Place, which is like a sort of like
it's a great series,
tasteful, artsy like photograph series of like very attractive women, but not just one type of woman, like all types,
right?
And the photo shoot that they did with Lake Bell, like I felt really bad about looking at it in public. She was really good looking, but it was very tasteful. But I was like, please, nobody look at my phone when I'm looking at this. Really good looking, and I mean the fact that she's also very funny and talented is like makes her
way more attractive. Absolutely, yeah. Paul, you have a video game.
I do. So recently we received a copy from Techland of their most recent series, Dying Light, The Following, which is a sequel to their successful game Dying Light.
Expansion, if you will.
Right. That's the word that we want to use.
Yes.
So if, for all of you that are not familiar, Dying Light is a zombie horror survival game. So you play the role of Kyle Crane. You are a sort of secret agent man that is dropped into this hot zone by a government agency to secure a package. And that is the original premise of Dying Light. The following sort of expands beyond that. You leave the city limits and go into the country in search of a group of people who you have heard are somehow immune to this zombie virus. And so the way the following sort of expands on the series is it kind of opens things up. You're no longer stuck in a city. You're in this very open countryside. It expands your mobility in the way of giving you a car.
A buggy.
A buggy, which is just like everything else. It is completely destructible. You have to repair it often. The way that you handle the buggy dictates how long parts last. You are still forced to sort of scavenge around and pick up parts that you can use to build parts for your buggy. There is less emphasis on like the melee aspect of the fighting in the game.
Okay.
In Dying Light, the original game, like if you used a gun, you were fucked because like zombies would just flock to you and you have like different. I mean, because they would be activated by sound. And and there are different breeds of zombies in Dying Light, so like the fast ones would come if you used guns, and that was a bad idea. But in the following, you're kind of forced to use more ranged weapons more often because everything is more expansive.
Okay.
And because you do actually encounter more human enemies who have their own guns and crossbows and the like. So the story is much stronger than Dying Light, the original, I think. There is a significant twist at the end. And they do sort of give you this Mass Effect-esque sort of decision to make that dictates how like the last 5 minutes of the game goes. Okay. So it's not of huge consequence, but they do give you a choice. Cool. Which is kind of fun. And it's still everything that was good about Dying Light just sort of carried over into a new expansion. I will say, I mean, I did a full review on the geekgeneration.com that went up a couple weeks ago, so you can check that out there. I mean, I enjoyed the game. I got through the end of the story and then sort of stopped playing altogether. Okay. But that's not any fault of the game itself. It's just because the Division came out. And,
sure. Time constraints.
Yeah. Time constraints. But you can go back and play more in the game as like in the be the zombie mode, which is like kind of like the PvP mode of the game where you can actually be a zombie and play against people who are playing as, you know, survivors. Sure. And you can also replay the game with all of your talents and gear from the beginning. So you can kind of be like Superman mode in, you know, like in the beginning stages of the game, like where you remember struggling so much.
Way OP right at the beginning.
Right. Yeah. But it does amp up the difficulty by making the zombies a little bit more durable. And so like your weapons aren't maybe as effective as you would think they would be. Okay. But overall, it's a pretty good game. They got rid of the parkour elements, at least for the most part. That was the most annoying thing about the original Dying Light, was that you had to climb and just jump off of everything. And they kind of played on your insecurities of whether or not you were actually going to make the jump. After a while, you learn that, yes, my character can make this jump or it can climb up this facade. But there's always that uncertainty factor. There's this like millisecond between when you like think you're actually going to fall and you actually grab a ledge or you actually make a jump. Okay. And I think they do that on purpose to kind of give you that sense of tension. Right. But I mean, they kind of get rid of that in the following. There are some parts that are a little bit more like that where, you know, the tension kind of, you know, is ramped up. But otherwise, a very good game. I would recommend getting it if you like the zombie horror survival genre of games. I know there's a few others, but I think Dying Light does it pretty well. And I think it's currently available on all platforms.
I believe so, yeah. Yep. Awesome. Sounds cool. Sweet. I have a Batman animated movie. We talked a little bit about this stuff before. Batman Bad Blood. It is based on storylines from several different comic series in Batman. Battle for the Cowl, Batwoman, Batman and Robin, and Batman Incorporated. It kind of picks and chooses some of those storylines and meshes them all into this one. I did hear from some people that was kind of a complaint in that each of these stories was very strong on its own and could have easily lent itself to a full-length movie where they would have actually been able to explore more of the points that maybe they missed in whittling all these down into like a 70-minute feature. So the premise here is that Bruce Wayne is missing. Nightwing and Robin have taken to the streets of Gotham in his stead, with Grayson donning the Bat costume to prevent others from knowing that Batman is gone. A new player, Batwoman, has joined the investigation, and a new villain, Heretic, might be more than Dick and Damian can handle. So on the positive side with this movie, it is the best of the 3 Batman films in this continuity. So the others that had come out before were Son of Batman and Batman vs. Robin. This is the third in that continuity because DC's kind of doing 3 releases, I think, a year is their pattern. They're doing 1 Batman release, and those all now go in order with each other. They're doing a Justice League, and those all kind of progress along the same path. And then they're doing like a miscellaneous kind of whatever they want to do with the third one. But of the 3 that they've released so far, this is by far the strongest of them. I had some issues with the prior 2, even though I still enjoyed them. But this one stands above those. The story's great. The addition of Batwoman gives us something new to explore in a world where we're starting to feel very familiar with everything that's presented, especially when it is a continuous story and we're seeing the same characters. We know where they've been. We know not necessarily where they're going, but we're starting to learn more about them. So throwing in this new element of Batwoman was very exciting. I'm not a reader of necessarily the Batwoman comics, but from what I've heard, it's a very, very good interpretation of her. They tell a little bit of her background, why she became Batwoman, and all that, I guess, is handled very, very well as far as the way the comics do it too. Heretic is a villain from the comics as well, although I had zero familiarity with the character. So there is a cool reveal into actually who he is. If you've read the comic series, you know who Heretic is behind the mask. But if you don't, it's a cool twist within this movie. There's also a part in the movie in maybe like the third act where you think the movie's over and there's probably like 20 minutes more. And there's a whole thing you didn't see coming happen that spurs all this other stuff. And you're like, whoa, like, and that was very exciting too. So even though, like, especially myself, who is very, very familiar with most things in Bat lore, they're still pulling the rug out from under me here and there and being just really good storytellers. So that was all great. On the negative side, there's another character from the Bat family that was recently introduced in prior years called Batwing. And no, he's not a human jet, but he kind of is at the same time. He has like a robotic suit, like a glowing bat symbol on his, and he flies around.
He's like Iron Bat.
He's like Iron Bat. In a lot of ways, he is. So Batwing's in the movie too, but he really didn't add anything. It was almost like, let's throw another person in because double the excitement or whatever. It would have been a bit stronger, I think, if they focused on the trio of Nightwing, Robin, and Batwoman. And then when you're introducing a new character that's that interesting, if you can spend a little more time on her, it makes her that much better of a character. So it was almost Batman and Robin feeling in the sense that they're just throwing too many things into the pot and they don't have enough time for all of it. So
yeah.
And then, of course, I still hate Batman's voice in all of these. I feel bad because the guy himself, he's probably a really great actor, Jason O'Mara, but he has like a Scottish accent or an Irish accent as he is normally, and he's doing an American accent to do Batman, but there's pieces that are not going away. There's certain ways he pronounces words and there's certain twangs to the way he speaks where he's not completely covering up his accent. Yeah. And to have this be your Batman for both this continuity and the Justice League continuity seems like a really odd choice to me. They could have, I think, gone in with someone a lot stronger that didn't have to put on an accent to be a voice actor.
Right.
So, but at the same time, Yvonne Strahovski voices Batwoman. And she has an accent normally too, but she does a perfect American accent here. Yeah. So, and she's actually great in the movie. So, yeah.
I like how in the movie, like their Nightwing is like, oh, I need to like play the role of Batman so nobody knows that he's missing. But in like the first 5 minutes that he's Batman, like everybody that matters knows exactly who he is.
Yeah.
Like Damian looks at him and is like, what are you doing in that suit, Grayson?
Yeah.
And then like with the first time he meets Batwoman, Batwoman's like, you're not Batman.
Yeah.
And he's like,
they all figure it out so easy.
It's so fast. Like it just like within like the first 5 minutes of a character meeting them, and they're just like, I mean, with the exception of like some of the criminals, they're just like, what are you doing, bro?
Right.
And he's like, shh. Don't tell anybody.
I mean, the reason he's wearing it is obviously so the criminal element doesn't know that Batman's gone, but everyone is figuring it out really quickly.
Yeah, like everyone figures it out.
Yeah. But I did enjoy the movie overall. I thought it was
liked it too.
Worth the watch for sure. We have one more thing to do before we get out of here. It's not news this week, and we haven't done this in a while because I didn't really find anything that supported it, but we do have some fake news.
Woo!
So I don't know if you guys have played the fake news game yet. Usually Volpe's here when we do that. Basically, I have 3 stories. 2 of these are completely real, but ridiculous stories that are from the news. And the other one is one that I wrote that is equally as ridiculous as the others.
I am ready. I have never played this, but I am hyped to play it.
Your job is to guess the fake news story out of these 3. So I will read them all first, give a quick reminder as to what they were, and then you guys can give your guesses. Story number 1. Nickelodeon has greenlit a live-action TV movie inspired by its iconic game show Legends of the Hidden Temple. Drawing from the original game show's premise of kids competing to retrieve artifacts from a mysterious Mayan temple, the new action-adventure TV movie version will follow 3 siblings who embark on a high-stakes mission comprised of obstacles that they must complete in order to escape alive. Story 2. Sony Pictures Animation and WWE Studios have announced a sequel to Surf's Up, the 2007 Academy Award-nominated action comedy about surfing penguins. Titled Surf's Up 2 Wave Mania, the movie features the voice talents of WWE superstars John Cena, The Undertaker, Triple H, Paige, and Vince McMahon. Story 3. Sci-Fi and The Asylum have announced that Ian Ziering will slay again in Sharknado 4. Reprising his role as hero Finn Shepard, while Tara Reid is set to return as April Wexler to reveal the outcome of the fan-voted April Lives or April Dies social media campaign. The 4th entry will also serve as a reunion of sorts, as Ziering's former 90210 co-star Luke Perry has joined the cast as Will Fisher. Serving as a rival to Ziering's Finn Shepard, Fisher is a glory-seeking opportunist who's branded himself the Shark Slayer, and parodies Finn on social media, but may have bitten off more than he can chew. So again, the 3 stories, a TV movie inspired by Legends of the Hidden Temple, Surf's Up 2 Wave Mania with WWE superstars as the voices, and Sharknado 4 with Luke Perry as a rival to Ian Ziering.
I'm going to say definitely not the first one because nobody gives a shit. you wouldn't make that up because you'd be like, that's so obscure that Paul and Anna probably never heard of it before and don't care. So it's between the Penguin one or the Sharknado 4. Now, Sharknado 4, obviously, it's pretty obvious that they would make one because they're making money and they're stupid. But I don't know about the whole Perry thing. That might be a stretch. That might be your little twist on like something that may happen, but you made it a little more silly. What do you think, Paul?
I'm 75% sure.
I think Paul actually follows the news.
Yeah, I'm 75% sure I've heard number 1. I've heard of number 1 and number 3. So I am pretty sure it's number 2.
Pretty sure
Penguin
it's number
movie.
2.
I'm going to say, oh, God.
That's my final answer.
The only reason I think the Penguin one would be fake because that's not like something that kids are yet like want. Like, I don't remember the first one. 2007, a sequel from 2007.
Yeah.
That's a stretch.
Yeah. And I'm also not sure about mashing those 2 properties together. Although having John Cena in them would be incredible.
Yeah, we're going with the Penguin one, I think.
Okay, so you both are actually agreeing that it's okay. Yeah. The fake story is number 3.
What?
Oh,
are you serious?
I'm
so
100%
close.
serious.
Oh my god.
So close.
See, my challenge in these is being able to write a story that's as believably stupid as the other two that I read to you, and I'm so happy when I succeed.
But is there a Sharknado 4
Okay, so
out?
I'll go through the reality of each one. So, Legends of the Hidden Temple, the TV movie will feature elements from the original game show, including Olmec, a talking head who knows the secrets behind the temple, the Steps of Knowledge, the entrance to the temple and launching pad for the mission, and cameos from a green monkey, red jaguar, and silver snakes, among others. So that's definitely happening, apparently. The second one I saw and I was just like, what the hell is this? And they're real. There's character models for this. There's an Undertaker penguin. Like he has like a trench coat on and shit. And I'm, what the fuck is this?
Oh my God.
Cody Maverick, hungry for a new challenge, convinces an infamous big wave riding crew known as the Hang Five, voiced by WWE superstars John Cena, The Undertaker, Triple H, Paige, and Mr. McMahon, to let him join them on their journey to a mysterious surf spot known as the Trenches, where legend has it they'll find the biggest waves in the world. Cody soon discovers that the life he left behind might be more heroic than what any death-defying wave has to offer.
I'm looking this up right now. I want to see it.
It's so dumb. It's so dumb.
Oh my God, it's fucking real. Oh my God, I can't believe it.
It's completely real. The character models are stupid. They're so dumb. They like, I don't know why you have to make them look like the wrestlers. Why is that a thing that needs to happen just because the wrestlers are lending their voices
the
to
freaking
the
Undertaker penguin looks ridiculous.
That's what I'm saying.
Like he looks ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous.
Bad. That's so bad.
And for Sharknado 4, Luke Perry has not been cast in Sharknado 4, and the role of Will Fisher does not exist.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah. I was, for his name, I was trying to come up with some sort of play on Finn or Fish, and I came up with Fisher as the last name, and I just thought it would be funny if Luke Perry was in. Now, to be honest, and this is completely true, when I was going to write a fake story before, Luke Perry was not my first, like, fake casting to throw in this. I was like, what if Gary Busey was in it, and he was some mad scientist who was behind the Sharknadoes the entire time? Because I think that's something Sharknado would do. Then I looked up the cast.
Oh, no.
And Gary Busey actually has been cast in the movie.
Oh, my God.
And he will be playing a scientist.
Oh, my God.
That is April's father.
That's weird.
Now, whether he has anything to do with the Sharknadoes, I don't know. But I almost wrote as a fake story.
The real story.
And I had to abandon that and come up with someone else. So I thought 90210 connection.
Wow.
And then they're doing all this social media stuff with April anyway. So what if someone else had something to do with that too? Because they seem to be getting all their popularity off social media.
Yeah, I don't think anybody actually seeks that movie out.
Yeah. So I win that round.
Wow.
Oh my God. I can't believe that Surf Something is real.
Yep. Look it up, people. I'll put pictures too in both the video version of this that you can watch on YouTube and at thegeekgeneration.com in the show notes. And you can see how ridiculous this Surf's Up 2 stuff looks. WWE is just getting in all the kid things.
Yeah.
All the kid things. That's it for this week. So, final thoughts or something you would like to plug, Anna?
Nah.
Paulo?
Nah. Just go to thegeekgeneration.com. Support us any way you can. Leave a review for us on iTunes. We've got a couple in the last
we've been getting a few more. Yeah.
And you think that doesn't do anything for us, but it does. It brings up the relevancy of the podcast in the greater iTunes scheme. So, if you feel the need, definitely leave us a review, hopefully positive.
Yeah.
Hopefully positive.
iTunes reviews are the fastest, cheapest way you can support the show, for sure. To see everything else we do, head on over to thegeekgeneration.com. If you use iTunes, please rate the show and write a review, as we just asked. You can like us at facebook.com/thegeekgeneration and follow at Geek Generation on Twitter. You can watch live podcasts and gaming at twitch.tv/thegeekgeneration. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at The Night Angel. Support the show by going to thegeekgeneration.com/support. Send emails to podcast@thegeekgeneration.com. And as always, the show theme is provided by Machine Supremacy. A link to their site can also be found on our site. We'll be back very soon with more geeky stuff for you, and we will see you then. Later.
Make it so.